How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So I've been a long time proponent of steering yoke since I put one in my car in December of last year. In that time, I've traveled over 25,000 kilometers or about 15,000 miles with the yoke, and I love it. It's a product from Hansshow. And along with the amazing growth of my channel lately, I was very surprised to get an email from Hansshow that they wanted to team up and send me some products to see how I like them, how they are in the vehicle. And with the amount of driving I do and daily usage, I'm a pretty good test bed to see if a product is gonna hold up over time. So far, the yoke is holding up amazing. I love everything about it. Will not be going back like some people have thought. But today, we've got something different. Hansshow has sent me their screen swiveling kit for the Model 3. So today we're gonna install it and see how it is, how it holds up. If you're wondering why I'm doing this, I'm actually really curious about this swiveling capability for two reasons. One, it's supposed to sit about 5 centimeters lower than our standard screen, which I'm thinking initially that's a little bit more visibility for the camera on the self-driving thing, so you guys can see just a little bit more of what's in front. The screen will sit a little bit lower. But also what'll be really nice is when in the full screen mode, I can have the screen swivel towards me a little bit, and it's a lot easier to hit that camera to report snapshots to the autopilot team. Because I like being able to show customers the full screen so they can see everything the beta can see, but the report button ends up all the way to the right, kind of out of reach. So I think it'll be really nice to be able to swivel that over and have an easier access to it. We'll see how it actually works. I know there's been some concern in another video I saw where the steering wheel kind of blocks some of your visibility on your screen with your speed limit and such. I don't think I'm gonna have that problem. I don't have a top to my steering wheel. So let's go ahead and get started, and we're gonna get this swiveling kit installed. We'll go ahead and open this up. Really clean packaging. We got our first little piece here that's gonna connect to the back of the screen. So this is the actual swivel mount itself. It's really sturdy. Might have to loosen that up, we'll see. To make sure we'll be able to actually tighten this in. So this is made from a really sturdy aluminum or aluminium, depending on what you prefer. Fun fact, both are correct. Just depends on where you live and what's been adopted. So that aside, we got the tools that came with it. Looks like a screwdriver, an 8 to 10 millimeter spanner, really fat hex key, likely to break this larger bolt here if we need to make it move. It's probably really tight. I'm probably gonna keep it tight myself because I really won't need it to move around a whole lot. Got a pry bar for the plastic and a couple of Allen keys and a little screwdriver. Of course, I've got all of my tools in the back. Made sure that I actually had all the tools with me this time so I don't run into the headaches that I ran into last time when I was installing the yoke. These are the cover options for the temperature sensor. If your car is 2020 or older, we'll be using this piece here. This is what I'm going to use in my car. This other one, this cover is for cars made after 2020 with the updated thermal system. So keep that in mind. Both options are going to be in the case if you guys do plan to get this swivel kit. Oh, this is the spacer, or not a spacer, but in fact a gap closer. So when this meshes up to the dash of the car, if there's a gap, we can use this to close that off. So that's cool. Before we actually install this, here's an important disclaimer. My car is out of warranty. I'm well past the 50,000 mile, 4-year coverage, and everything that I do is my responsibility. And I don't have to worry about voiding warranties. There's a lot of question when it comes to replacing like your yoke or changing things in your car that people are concerned about voiding warranties. There are a lot of laws that legally protect you from voided warranties due to aftermarket parts, but please do your research. Don't take it from me or any other YouTuber or installer. The best thing you can do, like I did for the yoke, is go to your local service center and talk to them. Ask them the question. That way, you know you've crossed your T's and dotted your I's, and you're not gonna put yourself in a position that's gonna screw you over in the end. On top of that, when it comes to your screen, if this breaks, this is a $1,400 replacement. Warranty or not, you mess up your screen, it's a hefty price. So keep that in mind. Be very careful, take your time, maybe get somebody professionally install it if you can. I love working on cars, I have for years. I am comfortable and savvy when it comes to taking things apart and putting them back together. But again, just be careful. You know, don't do something that you're gonna regret. All right, that being said, we're gonna get into this install. The last one proved to be a little entertaining, so hopefully you guys like this. Ask me questions in the comments, let me know what you think, and we'll see how this swivel mount really works. Also, you're gonna place your screen in wash mode before you take it off. I may block the camera here periodically, so I apologize. There we go. We got the temperature sensor right here. Now what you want to be careful with, you don't want to break any of this. So you just kind of tilt back and rotate. Which takes a little finagling, but that was pretty good. This is your temperature sensor, so be careful with that. Now this should be a 10 millimeter. Yep. Now you could choose to use the little 10 millimeter spanner they had, but I'm a fan of the socket wrench personally. Get down here, we're gonna crank this out. It's not too tight, which is nice. Bolt number 1. Keep an eye on where all your parts are. Okay, now this should, and remember, you have a cable connecting the CAN bus system to your screen, so don't just yank this out. Be careful. As I say that, it released a little rough there. Okay, I'm gonna set my towel there so we can do this next part. So I try not to put too much resistance on this cable here. You really don't want to mess that up. Called it right away. I used a T27 with a screwdriver right into these little screws in here. They're the star key. You got a couple things here. You got the actual connector and you got a little white safety bracket. So carefully take that off. You just spread it apart. Careful not to break anything. I very gingerly use the needle nose. Very minimal pressure. Now that that's off, we can take the OEM cover off. I'm gonna take a moment to move this screen out of the way. All right, for the next part, we got a few things to do here. We got the main bracket, which you're gonna have the thick part up. We have the cover and the wires. There we go. And of course, you wanna make sure that both of these wires come through. Okay, honestly, trying to finagle that around the bolts is gonna be too much, so I just slipped it off. We're gonna work smart, not hard here. So it's kind of what I thought was gonna happen. That is really tight, so we're actually gonna need to break this loose. And that is why we have this. There we go. It's always good not to tighten down one side too far until you've got both of them situated in properly. Get a little tighter. There we go. Don't want to overdo it. But you want to make sure it's sturdy enough that it ain't gonna go anywhere. There we are. That'll move a little bit. And if need be, we can always tighten that down more. I want it to actually be pretty sturdy so that the screen is stable and doesn't move around too much. All right, now we'll go ahead and feed these back through. This might take a little finagling to get everything to line up again. Oh, there we go. Oh. Ha! We got it. All right. It's actually a really good fit. All right, next portion is to get the screen ready. So we're gonna bring this back down here. Next, what we'll do is we're gonna go ahead and just attach this little piece to the temperature sensor. So it's this is gonna go in tabbed down. So try to do this in a way that provides less tension on the actual cable itself. Try not to force anything. Make sure it's going in there properly. And it has a good solid seat to it inside of the piece, so you don't have to worry about over tightening or anything. I apologize if I keep getting in front of the camera. I'm trying to be camera aware, but I'm more focused on making sure that I do this right. Let's scoot this up. Go ahead and get this through here. We're gonna make sure we slip this in. Want to have no tension on this cable as we go in here. You shear click. There we go. Nice firm click right in. I'm really trying to keep the screen up toward the car so that there's minimal tension. There we go. And this sits really quite beautifully right over the bracket where it needs to, which is really good. Remember, don't screw down one too tight so you've got them both. Just less tension on the parts. There's a really good tight housing for these screws, so you'll know when it's tight enough. So now, very carefully, bring the screen up while backing the cables in. Get kind of a little groove there. I will say that even before I've fully tightened it down, that this feels really sturdy. And honestly, it looks really good. There's not really a concern with it not looking original or looking sloppy, but I'm gonna get down in here, move this back, and make sure we get these tightened properly. And these are really well made because you can really tighten this down without worrying about cracking anything, which is nice. All right, the last bit here is just to get this temperature sensor in place and kind of get these wires tucked out of the way. Beautiful. Tell you what, we'll use the phone to take a little look at everything you can't see. Go ahead and take a look here at the finished product. You can see how the new clip sits in beautifully for the temperature sensor. These are the 2 screws that I was tightening down. You see it's kind of a tight spot, but the wires are good and out of place. The top of it looks good. It's well flush. It's very impressive. So far I am quite the fan. Okay, so the screen's responsive, but it's not responding to touch right now. See, so like nothing's working. Don't get worried. Just soft reset. All right, we got touch functionality back. So we do have some articulation side to side, which is interesting. And then of course, really nice amount of articulation left to right. So this, just from what I'm seeing now, I'm a fan. I'm liking where this is sitting. Now it is noticeably lower. You know, that 5 centimeters is noticeable. Okay, so now the forward cam is back to the standard height, and there is just a lot more. There's a lot more to be seen right here, which is really nice. This is comfortably lower. Now, the one thing you might have to just be more mindful of, and make sure you've got a case on your phone, and I recommend that everybody gets a screen protector for their Tesla screen, as that is too expensive a piece of equipment to risk breaking. So you'll just have to make sure, you know, there's a couple things to adapt to. So when you're putting your phone away, you're going to want to have it kind of down, and, you know, make sure that you don't just rush in and hit your screen. So there's going to be a little adaptation to it sitting a bit lower. But to be honest, I like this myself. So I think we'll go ahead and actually get my wife out here and see what she thinks for first impressions. Hey, good timing. I would love if you'd hop in real quick and give me your impressions of the new swivel mount.
I got like 2 seconds. I'm just gonna pull. I don't want to get like in because I don't know that I can
Yeah,
get
totally
out,
fine.
to be completely honest.
A little sore.
Uh-huh.
So this is it. This is the swivel mount now.
Interesting.
It's like you'd actually be able to, I don't know, if you're a passenger, watch something.
Does it like come out more than?
It's a little lower. It's about 5 centimeters lower.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
There's something that was throwing me off.
And
about
it's
the height.
you can also articulate up and down, which is kind of nice. It has a lot of free motion. You can tighten up how much you want it to be there, and it seems really sturdy. We'll see how it holds up when I'm driving, but.
So you think you're gonna keep it in?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm gonna run it in the car and see if it can handle how much I drive. And I mean, worst case, you can just put the old parts back in if need be. And it's kind of a natural spot, but yeah, being careful with your phone is something to think about.
Nice.
So.
That's awesome, dude.
All right, well, that's the install. We got another Hansshow product in the car, and we'll see how it handles all the driving I do and how I adapt to the position it's in and the usefulness of the swivel. But a big thanks to Hansshow for sending me the swivel mount so I could put it in the car. And to wrap up this video, we'll go ahead and hop onto the Hansshow website so you guys can see some of the things they have, including the Yoke, swivel mount, several accessories for the Tesla. Thanks for tuning in to another install video. Hope you all liked it. Feel free to ask me questions down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Here we are, my friends, on the Hansshow website. They have a myriad of different accessories from Model 3, Y, S, and X, including my Yoke steering wheel that I've had since December. The Yoke comes in 3 styles: ellipse, which is mine, trapezoid style, which is a little bit more airplane-esque, and inverted trapezoid, which is just crazy. But on top of that, we have here the screen swiveling kit, version 2 and version 3, the difference being left to right, left, right, and up-down, and of course options for right-hand drive and left-hand drive. Some of you may have even noticed this touchscreen you can get for the 3NY. It sits right in front of your yoke on the dash, similar to a binnacle, and offers a new way to experience your car supporting apps that we don't get on our normal Tesla screens. So check them out at hautopart.com and use my code CYBRLFT to get a 15% discount on your order. Thanks again to Hansshow for teaming up with me so I can share my experience with their parts with you all and give my feedback. I've raved about the Yoke any chance I get, and it's held up fantastically over some very hardcore driving since December. So if you ask me, that points to the quality of the products. I encourage you to visit their site and see if there are any accessories you'd like to add to your Tesla.